So, hello everyone. Thank you for continuing with us and for the new joining to our last session of our today celebration of World Environment Day 2021 international webinar. First, let me introduce myself to the new joinee. I am Dr. Hebatallah Adam, Associate Professor and Academic Dean at Jindal School of International Affairs and the Executive Director of Jindal Center for the Global South, and I will be the moderator of today's session. I feel greatly honored to welcome in this session our eminent guest speaker, Professor Naveen Kumar Arora. Professor Naveen is a professor and head in Department of Environmental Science, Dean in School of Earth and Environmental Sciences, and former head of Department of Environmental Microbiology at BBA University in Lucknow. Professor Arora is a renowned researcher in the field of environmental microbiology and biotechnology. The specific area of interest is plant microbe interaction and sustainable agriculture and environment. He has more than 100 research articles published in premium international journals and several articles published in magazines and dailies. He is editor of 35 books published by Springer Nature. He is also the member of several national and international societies in editorial board of four journals and reviewer of several international journals. He has one patent to his name, and he has successfully completed 6 R&D projects, and at present 3 projects ongoing under him, funded by Ministry of Science and Technology in New Delhi. He has been advisor to 121 postgraduate and 13 doctoral students, and he is member of several academic bodies in universities of India. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have with us in this last session of our World Environment Day 2021 celebration, Professor Arora, to share with us his expert opinion on a very important topic: environmental sustainability issues and viable solutions. This session is going to be broken down into 2 main parts. We are going to start by Professor Arora presentation, and then at the end we are going to have our Q&A section. So as it has been mentioned before, please prepare your questions, and at the end you can write in chat box or you can raise your hand and have a discussion with Professor Arora. So now I am gonna to hand over to Professor Arora to start his presentation. Professor Arora.
Thank you for the introduction. I would like to share my screen, and at the outset I would like to thank the organizers at Jindal Center for the Global South for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. So I'm going to share my screen. I think it is visible now.
Yes, it will start.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So today is the World Environment Day, and the theme of this year is ecosystem restoration. So we have come to a point now. The theme is ecosystem restoration. That means that we have damaged the ecosystem, the surroundings, the environment at a level that it requires restoration now. The slogan for this year's World Environment Day is recreate, reimagine, and restore. So restoration, restore, recreate, all are the key words. And that means we have to find out the solutions, the way we have caused the harm to our environment, to the ecosystems all over our planet. We have to go back. We have to rethink ourselves. We have to restart, reboot, and think for our planet how we can restore it, what are the innovative ideas, how we can go ahead with this situation. So I will again divide my talk in two aspects: what is happening, what are the impacts of anthropogenic activities, human induced activities on the environment, and then what are the solutions, possible solutions at present that we have. So with the Big Bang theory, the formation of universe, our planet Earth, the most beautiful planet we think at present in the universe, full of life and everything. But this life started with a very slow process of evolution. And I say that the physics, the universe formation, with that the energy, the matter, the physics is the grandmother of biology. Then after the formation of Earth, the chemical reactions began on our planet with the soupy conditions, and the very high temperature soupy conditions of our planet resulted in formation of stable biomolecules, formation of the first cells, maybe the microorganisms, and that resulted in the biochemical reactions. So I call chemistry to be the mother of biology. And after the formation of these cells, the microbes, the life began on our planet. And 2 billion years ago, the oxygen came on our planet, and then the situation started to turn very quickly, because after the arrival of oxygen in the atmosphere, the rate of evolution, the path of evolution, the process of evolution, it took a new dimension. It was very means in comparison to before that, it became very fast. Evolution became very fast, very quick after the arrival of oxygen on in the atmosphere. So the free oxygen caused the evolution to go at a very fast pace, and finally the Homo sapiens, we call humans, arrived on this planet and slowly but surely started to impact the planet very means with initially it was slow, but then in the last 100 or 200 years the impact has become very huge, we can say. And there is a complete change in the what I should say, the face of our planet. The face of our planet has changed in last 100 to 200 years, which is easily visible from satellite pictures, from so many other studies. So the studies on our planet, we have left no nook and corner on our planet which is not disturbed by the human activities, which is not affected by the human activities, be it the highest of the mountain peaks, be it the oceans, be it the North Pole, be it the South Pole. Every part is affected due to these human activities. And these human activities, we call them anthropogenic activities, have resulted in a great a type of problems. New problems are coming each and every day. So we have changed the face of our planet, and the main thing behind all these are the increasing human population and the increasing demand. Now this demand for energy has increased around two times, and will increase by two times by 2050. Demand for food again almost by two times. Demand for the greenhouse gas emission is increasing at a fast pace. Demand for clean water is increasing, and all this is resulting, this huge exploitation of resources is resulting, and the process of industrialization leading towards the climate change, which is coming up very fast, the biodiversity loss, which is happening very fast, land degradation, again, a very huge problem coming up, and so many other issues related to air pollution, novel chemicals, which we are dumping each and every day into the environment, into the ecosystems, the problem of potable water supplies, the fresh water availability, the acidification of oceans, depletion of ozone. So many things are coming up because of these anthropogenic activities. And air pollution, you see, 2 to 3 gigatons of gases are cause 5 million deaths globally every year alone, air pollution. And then we dump 10 million tons of chemical pollutants into the ecosystems. Oil spills are increasing every year. plastic pollution is increasing by 300 million metric tons generated annually, and 8 millions of that waste turns up into the Earth's oceans. Metal pollution is increasing. So this is how we are moving at present, where very fast pace of anthropogenic activity is what we call the development. But is it a type of development? Is it sustainable? That is the big question mark. So fate of plastic, you see, only just 9% of the total plastic product produced is recycled. Rest of it goes into the ecosystems, and it keep on accumulating. It's recalcitrant. It is not easily degradable. In fact, not degradable at all almost. And it is accumulating in the environment, in the oceans, in the rivers, in the lakes, in the soil, even in the food chain. This microplastic is accumulating. Then we all know about the greenhouse gas emissions increasing day by day, resulting in so many issues, increasing in global warming, increase in global warming. We believe what as per the research, as per the data available, that the temperature of our planet average temperature will rise by 3 degrees centigrade by year 2100 if the things go on as of today. So that is a situation we are facing. And global warming, is a big issue with the melting of the glaciers, melting of the ice, the rising sea levels, the problem of freshwater supplies, and so many other problems which I will just keep on discussing now. The major carbon dioxide producing countries around the world include China, United States, European Union, India. Apart from several other countries, we have to bring down our carbon footprint. We have to bring down the carbon dioxide emission, but at present it is increasing and increasing in the name of development. So, a paper, I published a research paper in a leading international journal, and we talked about the 50 years challenge. People talk about a couple of years back, there was a challenge known as 10 years challenge, in which celebrities used to put their picture on Insta or on Facebook, comparing themselves from the last 10 years, what they looked 10 years before, and now how they look. So generally, these celebrities used to post those pictures on Instagram or on Facebook and say that you see, we have become even more smarter after this. But what happened to our planet? Billions of years of history, but only in last 50 years, the face of our planet has changed such a huge way that it is it is devastating. The way the temperature has increased, the way the global warming is increasing, the way the pollutants are increasing in last 100 years or so has completely changed the face of our planet. I was reading a research paper. A country known as Venezuela has become zero glacier country. All the glaciers are melted in this country, and the glaciers are melting at a very fast pace all around, including the South Pole and the North Pole. So the face of our planet is changing very quickly, and it is not for the good. It is for the worse. We are not making our planet smarter. In fact, we are deteriorating it very quickly due to the anthropogenic activities. You see the comparison in 1970s and 2018. You see the red zones, the increasing temperatures, the increasing pollution levels, and all. With this climate change, the disasters are also increasing at a very fast pace. The natural disasters are linked with the climate change, like natural disasters, like cyclones, like floods, like droughts. They are linked with this climate change, and the pace of natural disasters has increased. Even the bushfires, the jungle fires, what we call them, only a year back, devastating bushfires ravaged Australia. So many species were wiped out. Several have become endangered, and several are on the verge of extinction now. So because of just a single huge bushfire occurring in Australia. And many other parts of the globe, including the America and Europe, even in India, in the Himalayan belt like Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, there are huge jungle fires every year. And the way the temperature is increasing, these disasters are going to increase. The number of cyclones hitting India have increased, so as with other countries. And you see, even in the month of May, we had several cloud bursts in the northern Himalayan states like Uttarakhand. So these natural disasters are increasing at a very fast pace, and with the fragile ecosystems, these are causing havoc. Apart from this, the loss of biodiversity. It is believed now, as per the data, that we are going through the sixth mass extinction at present. We are going through the sixth mass extinction at present, which is totally due to human activities, due to the anthropogenic activities. And in the last 50 years or so, we have lost 76% of the freshwater animals species, 39% of the marine species, 39% of the terrestrial species, 68% of the plant species, and about 50% of the corals. This is alarming. We are going through the sixth mass extinction at present, and that is human induced mass extinction. The earlier five extinctions, mass extinctions, were not human induced, and they were not so fast. They were not so quick. They were very paced out, means they were very slow is extinction processes occurring naturally, giving way to the new species. In the meanwhile, the older ones were were getting extinct. But this one is very quick. This sixth mass extinction is happening very quickly, and you see, since 1700 until 2050, we will lose around 50% of the total species on our planet. That is very fast, happening in just around 300 years or so. So this is the pace of the species which we are losing very quickly. And another aspect is this global land degradation. You see this map, and you will understand what is the scenario of global land degradation. All these red areas are highly degraded areas on the globe. And in northern India, where we are somewhere here, I am placed at Lucknow, which is part of this red zone, northern India. And you see the parts of China and even Africa, Europe, red zones, and these pink zones are also high severity of land degradation, mainly because of the climate change, due to and other reasons like use of chemicals in the pollution, due to the chemicals like pesticides, like chemical fertilizers being used for cultivation, for taking out high yields of the crops. All these are the reasons which are causing this land degradation. And this land degradation is a dynamic process. It is happening very fast. It is increasing day by day. Now, this study we did on salinity. I personally work on this aspect, on this area, soil salinity. Now, this soil salinity is directly linked to land degradation. And you see, increase in human population is resulting this, you see the blue line, increase in human population is directly correlated with increase in soil salinity around the globe, and also with the carbon dioxide emission. So you see that soil salinity is directly linked with increasing human population. Soil salinity is increasing around the globe every year, and it is directly linked with the population increase and the carbon dioxide emission. This is just one example. This graph I am showing just for as an example, a single example. There can be so many other graphs which can be plotted, which will be directly linked to to the population, increase in human population, increase in carbon dioxide emission. For example, deforestation, it will be directly linked. For example, increase in the land degradation. For example, increase in water pollution. For example, increase in air pollution. All these things will be linked if we plot graphs like this. This is just a representative graph of the research area which I work on. So we talk about that we have reached Mars, we have reached Moon, we have reached other parts of the universe. We are so tech savvy nowadays. The IT sector has developed a lot, several other aspects. The technology is developing at a very fast pace, but still 1 out of 9 people on this planet is undernourished. At this, we talk about so many advancements, but this is the situation we are facing. 1 out of 9 people still is hungry on our planet, still doesn't get the proper calories, still is sleeping without food. So that is the situation we are still in. And if we talk about the future, then if we compare it with 2006, this is how the food basket would look in 2050, the green one. You see, we need to have 70% increase in food production by 2050 if we compare it with 2006, because of the increasing human population, increasing demand. So this is the scenario which we are facing. For this increase in food production, we need sustainable methods. We don't need the, we should not be dependent upon the chemicals like pesticides or the chemical fertilizers or other methods which are based on, which are not sustainable, which are based on chemicals. We need to have sustainable solutions. We need to have sustainable agriculture. We need to bring this climate change in control so that the droughts, the floods come in under control, so that the land degradation comes under control. We need to decrease the greenhouse gas emission, and we need to decrease the wastage of the food as well. We need to increase the dependence on the local food, and we need to decrease drastically the over exploitation of the natural resources. So this is only the way by which we can achieve this target of increase in the food basket for the 9.7 billion people which are expected to be present on this planet in 2050. So after all these problems which we have created, we announced, the United Nations announced the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. 17 goals were declared. Almost all the countries on this planet, more than 200 countries, are signatories to the Sustainable Development Goals. The targets were set for 2030, but in 2019, the UN Secretary General himself declared that we are on course to fail all the targets. That means we are going to fail all the targets. We are not going to achieve these targets by 2030 the way we are going. And most of these targets are interlinked, means economy, poverty, zero hunger, gender equality, quality education, all the social and the environment parameters are linked. And COVID-19 has showed it. COVID-19 has showed it to the world that how a simple biological disaster can impact the economy of the world, the poverty situation, the hunger situation, the industrial development. It can impact everything. So environment is doing this, and the way we are devastating the environment, it is happening since last more than 50 years. So if we do not control the environmental pandemic, the COVID pandemic will be controlled in maybe a year or two. But if we do not control the environmental pandemic, we are not going to achieve the sustainable development goals, and we will be in trouble. So I will show you some glaring examples of what is happening on this planet. Antarctica is rapid ice melt. Very recently, I was studying a few days back, a huge chunk of a glacier or ice took away from the Antarctic peninsula and came into the ocean. And this is happening all around the globe. I was giving you example of Venezuela. It is happening in Arctic region. It is happening in Himalayas. Everywhere the glaciers are melting. They're breaking off. This year only in February, there was a huge glacier breakup in Uttarakhand in India, which resulted in huge life loss. More than 400 people died because of that. A glacier chunk of a glacier that broke off from Himalayas and came bang down into the river and resulting in devastation. This is happening all around the world. There's so many examples from Arctic region, from Antarctic region, from several other countries, and this is all going into the ocean. The sea level is rising continuously. They see the breaking off of a glacier. There is an example of a photographic example, a huge chunk of ice of a glacier in Greenland breaking off from the main glacier and going into the ocean. Now this increase in sea level has so many devastating effects. The ocean level is increasing. The tiny countries, the small countries in the oceans are in trouble. They may be, means if we do not control all this, these countries will be wiped out. They will sink into the ocean. Coastal regions in several countries like in India are in trouble. Mumbai is facing huge floods every year in the rainy season, in the monsoons, because the ocean water is coming towards the city, towards the land. It is sinking. So the situation is becoming difficult each and every year. So these floods are coming, and the way this ocean is entering the land, it is making it saline. This area is becoming more and more saline. The coastal regions are becoming saline, and because of their salinity, the productivity of these regions will go down. And you see another picture here, how a beach line which was present in 1986 is gone in 2016. So this ocean in Texas has reached inside, has entered inside, and resulting in complete loss of a beach line. There is no beach left now in 2016. The warming in Europe, temperatures are increasing. Now we very commonly hear how temperature increase in Europe, 40 plus in some countries like Spain, where the temperature rises to plus 40. Even in Switzerland, I was there in 3-4 years back. The temperature there touched around 35 degrees centigrade, and the people were in, they were feeling the heat wave of at 35 degrees centigrade. So that was the situation. Some lakes, some water bodies, they are in trouble, big trouble. They are disappearing from this planet. Water bodies like lakes. This is an example of Nevada Lake. This another example of Urmia Lake in Iran. It is almost on the verge of extinction. And this glaring example of Aral Sea, a whole sea in Central Asia disappearing in just less than, say, 50 years. Even the whole sea, Aral Sea, is disappearing. Now we see in the morning, I was in a presentation by a scientist from this region only, and she was giving presentation on Aral Sea. And it is no more a sea. It is just a lake-like structure which is left behind. And it was a huge sea in 1977 up, and it was touching the boundaries of 4 countries in Central Asia. Now this sea is gone. A whole, so that is what I was saying, that the face of the planet is changing at such a fast pace. Now, what is left behind this Aral Sea is a salt desert, because the sea is gone, and what is left behind is a salt desert, which is impacting the whole region. All of those countries around this sea, they are becoming a salt desert. This salt is spreading due to wind and due to other natural phenomena, and reaching the agriculture system, making the land saline, and these areas are now in a huge problem. And huge projects are going on how to protect these areas from this salinity, but it is very difficult. It is a disaster, Aral Sea disaster. It is popularly known as, which is inevitable now. We cannot restore this whole sea now. It is almost out of our hands. So this is what is happening. There is a pollution on the even we have not left Mount Everest, the highest peak on our planet. A lot of pollution is there. So many expeditions happening. Heavy metal pollution, plastics, all littered around the Mount Everest. You see, research found that heavy metals on different heights on the Mount Everest. So this is the situation: lead, nickel, chromium, arsenic, such type of heavy metals. See this is a great, this picture showing garbage patch in Pacific Ocean. Huge garbage patch, which is full of plastics, which is full of electronic waste, which is full of other filthy material, other pollutants, chemicals, even dangerous microorganisms. So many different effluents may be mixed up in this, and this is floating in the Pacific Ocean. Several such type of garbage patches are floating on our oceans, and they are in trouble. Alaska oil spill is just an example. Oil spills are increasing every year. With more development, more trade in oil, the oil spills are happening very fast. And this is an example of last year, Mauritius oil spill in 2020. This whole sea, this ship, which is a Japanese ship, which broke down, which sank near the Mauritius, the shoreline in Mauritius, and resulted in huge amount of oil spill. More than 1,000 metric tons of oil was spilled in the Indian Ocean. Only this is an example of last year. There are several examples. In 2020 only, I noticed there was oil spill in Siberia. There is oil spill in Mauritius. A very recent example, just a few days back, 3 or 4 days back, in Sri Lanka. So this is becoming more and more common, oil spill, and you know how this oil spill damages the ecosystem. It totally hampers the life in that ecosystem. It hampers the sunlight penetrating the ocean water. It hampers the oxygen penetration in the water, results in low dissolved oxygen, and endangers the whole life system below that this oil spill, because oil is lighter than the water. It floats over the surface, and it is also toxic to many plants and animal species. I mean, most of the plants and animal species residing in that area. So apart from being toxic, it cuts off the oxygen, it cuts off the sunlight, and results in huge devastation in that region. And Mauritius, like countries which are very small countries, whose economy depends on the tourism, can be devastated by such impacts. This Australian bushfires I talked about, resulting in huge damage to the ecosystem. This happened in 2019 and 20. More than 18 million hectares of the forest was lost due to bushfires in 2019-20 Australian bushfires, and this resulted in almost leading to the wipeout of several species also, which were endemic to that region, which were only found in those regions and nowhere else on this globe. So this and so many such examples we have. Great, this barrier reef, Australian government is trying to restore them now, but already they were in trouble, and restoration activities are going on. Now, slightly to a different aspect, this COVID-19 situation, which is bothering us since last 2 years, this pandemic, which has resulted in huge devastation of human life, huge problems, social problems, economic problems, so many other problems, this COVID-19. Now, it has clear-cut environmental linkages. Now, with biodiversity loss happening so fast, deforestation, fragmentation of habitats, biodiversity loss, the wild animals are coming in contact with humans more and more. Maybe the bats, the pangolins, such type of wildlife is coming in contact with humans more, because we are damaging their ecosystem, we are damaging their habitats, we are causing huge amount of deforestation and building colonies very near to these wild areas, because of which the human population is coming in direct contact with these wild animals. So this biodiversity loss is resulting in loss of forests, loss of habitats, and more contact of humans with the animals, wild animals, and resulting in transmission of novel viruses, novel bacterial pathogens. As per the World Health Organization, 70% of human diseases are zoonotic in nature. The novel diseases I'm talking about, 70% of the novel human diseases which arrive in humans are zoonotic in nature, means they come from the wild animals, from different animals. Now, deforestation, habitat fragmentation, we are building highways through the national parks, through the forests. We are building railway lines through the forests. We are developing resorts. We are developing human colonies around the forest, causing the habitat fragmentation, more interaction, more new human wildlife conflicts are happening, which may result in transfer of such bacteria and viruses. Apart from that, the bush meat trading, the illegal trade of wildlife for using as meat for consumption, which is very a dangerous situation. And it is believed that this coronavirus was, Wuhan is the center from where it erupted, this corona pandemic, this COVID-19, and it is believed that it was transferred through bush meat only, maybe pangolins or bats, and that is what is at present the most reliable theory. Maybe it may change in the future, but at present this is the theory. But there are so many examples, not only this coronavirus. There are so many examples where the bush meat and the wildlife interaction with humans has resulted in transmission of viruses like Zika virus in Africa, like earlier SARS coronaviruses, SARS-CoV, the SARS virus, the MERS virus in Middle East from camels. There's so many examples where these viruses and even bacteria have jumped from wild animals into the humans and caused epidemics, and this one has caused a pandemic. Exhaustive agriculture practices like use of pesticides, use of fertilizers, this is not only resulting in land degradation, it is also resulting in pollution, soil pollution, air pollution, water pollution. These pesticides, these chemicals, these dangerous chemicals, they reach the water bodies also, the rivers, the lakes, the oceans, and where they reach, they can cause mutations in microorganisms. These pollutants can be very dangerous. We don't know about that how much mutation they are causing in these microorganisms and may result in chimeras and new species in mutants which can be very dangerous to humans. We don't know much about that. But the way we are adding these pollutants like pesticides into the ecosystems, this can be very dangerous. Intensive livestock farming is another aspect which is very much it should be taken care of. Now this most of this livestock farming is unorganized in countries like India, in other Southeast Asian countries, in Africa. In many parts of the world, this livestock farming is not an organized sector. So this is resulting, there is a backyard farming going on where these animals like livestock, including pigs and cattle and all, they are allowed to forage into the forests. They come back after interaction with the wild animals and they may transmit novel viruses, novel bacterial, novel human pathogens. This is what is happening. It is a very unorganized sector. We don't know about that, the human conflict, the human interactions with the livestock, and when they can transmit those, they can interact with these livestock, can interact with the animals, the wild animals, and bring back the viruses. Even it is vice versa also. Viruses and bacteria from humans can get transmitted into the jungles, into the forest through these livestock. Backyard farming is very common in villages where the natural habitats are very close. These jungles, these forests, natural animals, wild animals are very close to these backyard farming systems. And it is not very poorly managed. No sanitation is not there exactly, and this may result in transmission of these viruses. And our dependency is also increasing day by day on this livestock. As per a data I was seeing of the livestock, we are more dependent now, 3 times more since last 30 years or so, 3 times more dependent on cattle, 3 times the production of piggeries has increased, 7 times the production of these birds like chicken has increased. So we are now more dependent on livestock because of the pressures on the agriculture system. So pollution, air pollution, soil pollution, water pollution is resulting in a huge problem. The formation of mutants in the microorganisms causing huge amount of pollution. I have already discussed about climate change resulting in droughts, resulting in floods. So when we face droughts several again and again each year in a region, people become more dependent on wild animals and wildlife and the livestock for their food requirements, which may result in transmission of these diseases. Unplanned urbanization is the biggest issue, which has been exposed due to COVID-19. Huge population density in big cities, easy transmission of pathogens, unhygienic conditions. Air pollution is much higher in big cities than in comparison to the semi-urban or the village areas, or the you see the water pollution is higher, air pollution is higher, population density is higher. There are the pile this the conditions are not very hygienic. Most of the population which is living in the big cities, they come with dreams, but most of the times 90% of the population is not living up to a standard. They are in more living in maybe some big slums you can see in Delhi or in Mumbai or in other big cities in the world, where these in slums, this transmission of such viruses becomes very easy because of the situation, because of the conditions. So what all after all this means, the issues, the problems which we are facing. So where we are going, we need to have some solutions. We need to work on the solutions. We need to go for the sustainable methods. We need to emphasize on these methods, on how we can improve, how we can change the scenario. So the biological solutions, I'm a biotechnologist, a microbiologist, so I will discuss about those only. There are so many biotechnological solutions which I can discuss and explain, but with the time, I will try to wind up in 5 or 10 or 15 minutes. The bioremediation, we are talking about restoration. This year, the theme is, again, I am repeating, restoration. So restoration of ecosystems can only be done with the help of bioremediation. Is a very important tool Very important aspect by the help of which we can restore our polluted ecosystems, our devastated ecosystems. And this is increasing at the rate of 8.3% per annum. The bioremediation industry is increasing very quickly. We are seeing very good results in bioremediation. So many success stories where we use microorganisms, where we use even phytoremediation plants for remediation of uh, polluted sites. Microbial enzymes are coming up as a big industry. Now, these enzymes are not responsible for any pollution. These are sustainable methods. We can use them in different ways, so many different ways, so many industries which are dependent upon microbial enzymes these days, like beverages, detergents, food industry, leather industry. We should go for microbial enzymes rather than for the chemicals, catalysts. Industrial enzyme is also, there is, you see, a huge jump from 2017 and prediction for 2024. Enzyme market, US enzyme market is increasing very quickly. Similar is the trend in other countries with a 6.8% CAGR, compound annual growth rate of 6.8% we are observing in the enzyme industry. Biofuels, bioenergy, we have to go for the biological options apart from the natural options like solar energy or wind energy. We can also explore the bio alternatives like bioenergy, like biomethanol, bioethanol. Again, you know, the petrol in several countries is now blended with bioethanol. In India also, we have a blended petrol with bioethanol up to 10%. So that is increasing day by day. Biogas, it is very common in Indian villages now, biogas production, biodiesel, biohydrogen. Again, a very good growth we can see in biofuel industry, even much better than enzymes and bioremediation. This is in this graph is showing that how we are increasing for the consumption and production of biofuels, for production and for the consumption. Bioplastics are coming up, although very in nascent stage at present. But yes, they are coming up to replace the plastics. Now, bioplastics can be produced from microbial resources and also from the plant resources. Now, these bioplastics at present, the research is going on to bring down the cost of production of these bioplastics so they can be easily available in the market. At present, they are available in some countries, in some sectors, but yes, the cost needs to be brought down so that we can use it in very common areas also. Then in agriculture, sustainable agriculture, I was talking about biofertilizers, biopesticides are coming up very quickly. And again, there are success stories, just examples of bioremediation success stories. I will skip. There are so many examples from around the globe, where bioremediation has been used not only from Western countries, but also from India. We have so many success stories of bioremediation being used and resulting in restoration of ecosystems. So I will just skip these slides and come to the other aspects. These are, yeah. So this I was talking about biofertilizers and biopesticides. You see, their production is also increasing very quickly. So from 3.3 in US million dollars to 7.51 in 2021, from 2014 to 2021. So we are witnessing an increase in use of bio methods in agriculture, be it biopesticides for controlling pests or be it the biofertilizers. I will now come to our part of the what research I am doing in my lab. What we are doing, it is also related to restoration, remediation of ecosystem. We work on saline soils, saline areas. This salinity, soil salinity is a dynamic thing which is increasing day by day. So it is affecting all the continents, all the regions of this planet. You see, the data, Asia Pacific is the most affected region by soil salinity, but other continents are also affected due to it. And this is increasing every year, soil salinity. There are so many reasons for that. Use of chemicals in the agriculture system, the global warming, the climate change, the incorrect practices of irrigation and all. There's so many reasons. This is how these saline soils look like. white patches of salt. You see, these are saline soils in our part of the world, in Lucknow, very close to our region, Lucknow region in central Uttar Pradesh. And we have just gone there only, collected useful microorganisms from these soils, from these saline soils with my team, my research scholars, my postdoctoral fellows. And we have isolated from very useful, important microorganisms like rhizobium and so many other microorganisms, and did experiments on different types of crops, taking field from the farmers. You know, this is a very arid, this is the saline patch which we requested a farmer to just allow us to do our experiments in their field, which are affected by salinity. Nothing was growing in these areas. They were not even cultivating. The situation of the economic situation of farmers is very poor in this region, which are affected by soil salinity. And their economic situation is so bad. Now they are not going for farming at all. They have become bonded laborers. Even they are laborers in the cities. In the big cities, they go for labor. Their condition, they cannot send their kids to the school. Even that is a situation. All these things, you know, the environment, the system, this ecosystem, all these the economy, the living standards, all these things are related. So with poor soil condition, soil salinity, is resulting in a very problematic life for these people who are very small hold farmers in this region. But we requested a farmer to allow us to do our experiments, and uh, he readily accepted our offer. He allowed us to do our experiments, and this is the experiment we did on sunflower in that region. You see, nothing is growing around. This is what we use, our bioformulations. We call them biofertilizers. We can call bioinoculants, using useful microorganisms, which are the soil microorganisms only. And you see the impact. In the previous slide, it is here. You see the impact of our addition of our bioformulations. And you see here, this is the part which has been treated with the bioformulations. And you see all around there are bushes, wild bushes. These farmers are not growing anything. So they very readily uh, allowed us to do our experiments. And there was this ecosystem restoration experiment we did uh, continuously for 4 or 5 years. We did this plantation with the help of bioformulations on different crops for continuously for 4 or 5 years. All this work is published in very high impact journals. And we did experiments on chickpea. We did experiment on these saline regions. The yield increased, more than doubled. We did experiments on lettuce. We did again, the yield increased, the quality of the crop increased. So, and we did experiments on wheat. We did experiments on coriander. Now you see, this is a situation after 5 years of continuous we put our bioformulations, we treated the crops with our bioformulations. Now this patch, although it is a small patch in this region of a small farmer, but we were able to remediate it using these bioformulations, and it has become absolutely green now. From the white patch, the soil has become dark brown, and the farmer from whom we took this field, he is now cultivating very salt sensitive crops like pea, like tomato, like spinach, like even wheat and rice on these fields, which we were able to remediate using biological methods. So this is how uh, we can try and do things. There are possible ways, there are methods, the biological interventions, which I call them, wherein we can use them and restore the ecosystem and help in increasing the food security, help in decreasing the land degradation. This was our success story. Apart from that, I am running a book series known as Microorganisms for Sustainability, which is published by Springer.com, Springer Nature. So anybody, if you want to contribute in this book series, you can just go and check it on the Springer website. We are also publishing one journal known as Environmental Sustainability. This journal is also published by Springer Nature, and all the papers, the articles published in journal are related to environmental sustainability. So we are doing our bit at international level, at national level, at local level. And in the end, what I would like to say is that yes, uh, the problems which we are facing, the problems of this environment, related to this environment, I call it, we are going through a COVID pandemic, but we are also facing these other issues. I call it the environmental pandemic. In fact, we are going through a very uh, big environmental pandemics is since last 100 years or so. Every one of us on today, on this World Environment Day, should take pledge to be the environmental warriors, to fight for the environment, to plant more trees, to safeguard our environment, to reduce, to recycle, to reuse the things, to reduce the over exploitation, and be the environmental warriors. We should also be the torch bearers of our environment. We should be the torch bearers of this pledge, that we will try to help. We will try to transmit this knowledge of environmental sustainability to other people and help our planet becoming better place, not only for us, but also help the uh, it should be better place for all the species. It should be a uniform criteria. It should be helpful for all the species of plants and animals. All have equal right. We should work on equal right for everyone, not only for humans, for the survival on this planet. With these words, uh, I complete my this presentation. I thank you, all of you, and be safe, be healthy, and maintain social distancing till we are in this COVID era. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Arora, for your insightful and informative presentations that you have given. I have learned a lot today about biology and microbiology and all this information. So thank you so much. I request, please, my attendees, if you do have a question, please write it in chat box or raise your hand if you'd like to leave comments to Professor Arora. Meanwhile, Professor Arora, I'm having a question regarding the announcement that today the Prime Minister Modi has given about the target of 20% ethanol blended petrol that is going to be preponed by 5 years to 2025, not to 2030. How this is going to have, from your point of view, is going to have a significant impact on India's green energy credentials? What do you think about this?
Yeah, it will definitely help. I was talking about biofuels in my presentation also. Already we have 10% blended petrol. So if we increase it to 20%, this will definitely help in reducing the greenhouse gas emission. It will help in reducing the environmental pollution. It will help in reducing the air pollution in the several cities which we are impacted due to it. So this is a very welcome step. I very much appreciate this step taken by the government of India and our Prime Minister.
Yeah. Yeah. So please, would you please, Professor, close your presentation so we'll
Yes,
be able to see you.
Yeah.
And please turn on your camera. Any questions from our attendees? Do you have any questions or comment you would like to leave to Professor Arora?
Yes. Professor, thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. I have a simple, this observation. What are the, increasing challenges to South Asian, region as per, environmental challenges are concerned? And what is the India's position if we compare it to global South countries?
Southeast Asia and in particular India, we are in a very vulnerable situation. You see, the zone the climatic zones, the disasters which we are facing, the natural disasters which we are facing, the fragile Himalayan ecosystem that we have, the huge population density which we have, the huge food requirements which we have. So we are more vulnerable than many other parts of the world. So we should be on our toes regarding this environmental sustainability issues, the sustainable development goals. We need to be proactive for that. And being in very, Himalayan, this whole climate of this region is controlled by the Himalayan region, and it is very fragile. The glaciers are melting and receding in Himalayas, and the climate issues are more. You see cyclones in a month of May, we had two huge cyclones which hit India. One on the western side from the Arabian Sea and other from the eastern side from Bay of Bengal. Two huge cyclones. So we are very much vulnerable. On three side is the ocean and the other side is the Himalayas. So with a huge population density to feed. So we should be proactive, not only our government, all other non-government organizations. Apart from that, the education institutes like universities and research institutes, and the individuals also, we all have to be on our toes because of our the system which the area, the region which we belong to.
Yes, thank you, Professor. So, any other question? Maybe I'm not seeing in chat box. There is one hand. Ishita, unmute yourself, please.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. It was a very enriching session to know about the environmental aspect. Sir, I have a question in terms of the COVID-19.
Yeah.
In terms of the theory of this bad theory that they have certain viruses that they are able to sustain and which they can sort of transmit to the human population in that generally. Sir, is it also possible in that scenario, like those viruses are not able to, impact the bat population that much in comparison to, like, because those viruses are something that they can sustain and that's something that's being transmitted to the humans. So that is something that I just wanted to know. How is this sort of possible? Like you did mention that this is a sort of a vice versa that happens, but I just wanted to know in that relations.
Yes, Ishita, what I could understand from your question is that why these viruses which come from the animals, maybe like bats or pangolins or several other animals, why they don't affect their population as much as humans? Sometimes it is like that only because, these viruses, our immune system is not prepared for the novel viruses. That is what is happening with COVID-19, the SARS-CoV-2. Our immune system is not prepared for this novel virus. It is a novel virus. It is not a routine virus which is impacting the human system since very long. If it would have been a routine virus which is already circulating in human population, then our immune system would have recognized it. You see, the flu, the common flu, it comes every year. A normal person is affected by common flu 3 or 4 times a year, but it is not so alarming. Our immune system recognizes it. So many other viral diseases, our immune system recognizes it, but this one is a novel virus. And these novel viruses, we cannot predict about them, how they will behave in the human body, how they will react to our immune system, how will they mutate. Now this coronavirus is a RNA virus as well. So it is a very highly mutating virus. So many variants going around in the population, not only in India and several other countries, so many variants are moving around. So we cannot, sometimes these viruses or bacteria, these pathogens, they come to the humans. There is not such a huge impact, but sometimes they can bring out a huge impact like this one is coming. Now, the vice versa theory, which I was saying, is that there is a theory that sometimes viruses or bacterial pathogens from human populations also reach the wildlife and result in devastation in wildlife. There was an anthrax outbreak in Africa, which was believed to be due to the humans, means though that anthrax bacteria, Bacillus anthracis, causes anthrax. Bacillus anthracis was transmitted from humans to domestic animals, and domestic animals transmitted into the wild animals. So it can happen both ways. That was what I was saying, why what I meant by vice versa.
Thank you, Professor, for your clarification and your question, to answer your patient to answer these questions. I think our time is over now. So before ending this thought-provoking session, I'm really thankful to you, Professor Arora, for accepting our invitation and making your precious time to be with us today, and to make our session and our celebration of World Environment Day to be fruitful and successful by your presence. So thank you so much.